the highest transfer fee a League of Ireland club has ever received, and rightfully so. It is about time. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. I hope you're all keeping very, very well indeed. I decided to do a quick kind of LOI transfer show update for you all today, just because there's been quite a few big pieces. It's not been a huge amount of kind of overall business done within the last week or so since the last video, but there's been some significant transfer dealings done, and I felt like it was necessary to touch them and then touch on a few things that could be yet to come as well. So do buckle in. Might be a little bit of a shorter one today, but yeah, do buckle in for some interesting bits and pieces. If you want to enjoy the video, please do drop a like on it down below and make sure to subscribe. I think we touched on it before. We're hoping to close in on that 4K mark, get as close to it as we can ahead of the season kicking off next week. So it'd be much appreciated if you can go and smash the subscribe button down below, and if we can hit we'll say 80 likes for this video. If we can hit 80 likes, that would be amazing. But without further ado, let's jump into it. And in slightly typical Bohemians fashion, we usually do start with them alphabetical order and all that. In slightly Bohemians fashion, it's become a reoccurring theme the last couple of seasons, is that they leave their business relatively late, and we've seen them do so again this year. They got 2 or 3 deals done kind of early in the window, but it's been kind of quiet enough since then, and there were some glaring gaps in their team, really, to be fair. And they brought in a left back in the most recent transfer video. We touched on that on loan from Preston North End, Keane Best. But they have been busy since then, and they've brought in winger Connor Parsons from Dagenham and Redbridge. And in case you don't recognise his name, I'm sure you all do, he was of course with Waterford last season. He played 33 times for them, and he scored 3 goals and he got 3 assists. So he didn't kind of set the league alight, but he is a good player, very, very kind of quick, direct winger, gets fans off their seats, and it was a position that Bohemians needed to strengthen in. I think it was only Dale Rooney really on the books that was kind of an out-and-out winger, so definitely needed to get a winger through the door, and they have done so. Now, it's a funny one. He went to Dagenham and Redbridge after leaving Waterford and only played 2 games there before leaving the club and opting to return home to, or not return home, he's English, but I believe he's English, isn't he? I think he is. But returning back to Ireland for his move with Bohemians. Maybe it was kind of the contract offer he received. I know it is a multi-year deal. Maybe that was that bit of security that he was looking for. Still 24 years of age, so good bit of potential, can still improve. I think he's worked at Alan Reynolds before at Waterford, so good bit of business for Bohemians there. I think he's a good little player, and I think it's definitely something they needed. A little bit of a spark, get fans off their seats, excite the fans heading in to the season next week. So yeah, good bit of business from Bohemians, and they continued on by picking up Alex Lacey. This was one we did touch on last week. He was on trial with the club for the last little while. 31-year-old central defender, as far as I'm aware. He's a lot of EFL experience. He's played for the likes of Luton Town, Yeovil, Notts County, Gillingham, and Hartlepool United, which I believe was the most recent club he was at. So a lot of English lower league experience from him, and he kind of brings maybe that kind of Jake Carroll factor, a little bit similar to that in terms of coming over from England and bringing that experience to the side. So I think it'd be a decent pickup. I think they need more. The more leaders they can get into that team, the better. And that's that bit of experience in the dressing room and on the pitch. It could be crucial for them. So I think that's a good little pickup for Bohemians, and yeah, 2 nice signings there. But of course, all eyes now turn to a certain Lys Mousset, who we did touch on in the last video. Still no announcement on his signing just yet. You'd wonder what the situation is, what the current situation is. I assume they want to pick him up. Like he's apparently been in good form in pre-season. He scored a belting goal by all accounts as well. So the Bohemians fans are desperate to get that one done, and that would really kind of set the season in motion on a good note and really get the fans really buzzing for the campaign to kick off. So if Lys Mousset, if that one can get over the line, it would be huge. I know we touched on that Colin Whelan hasn't really featured yet in pre-season so far for Bows, so they need a striker who are desperately in, because he's the only one in the squad at the moment, Colin Whelan. So they definitely need a striker, and this fits the bill, and it's worth the risk in my opinion. We kind of touched on it previously, but yeah, it definitely fits the bill for me. So I'm excited to see hopefully Lys Mousset gets over the line. But yeah, I think that's it from Bows. I wouldn't be surprised to see them opt for maybe another winger, maybe a left full back up to Keane Best or something. But remains Keane Best, isn't it? Yeah. But remains to be seen what they can do between now and the end of the window. We'll move on to Cork City. Then they've brought in central defender, 22-year-old French central defender Milan Mabeng. He was on trial with the club, and we kind of touched on Cork City in the last one, bringing in Freddie Anderson on loan from Stoke City. So it was important that they got some defensive reinforcements after losing the likes of Keane Coleman, missing out on Shane Griffin potentially as well. I'm not sure if they tried to really go for him, but missed out on that one. So definitely need some defensive reinforcements. Milan Mabeng comes in, might start alongside Freddie Anderson, that centre half. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on, how they kind of acclimatise to the league. It might be a little bit of an adjustment period for them, but by all accounts, good young defender and an important one for Cork to get over the line as well. We will move on then to Shamrock Rovers. We're not going to touch on every team in this, we're just kind of touching on the stuff that's kind of happened within the last week or so. And Rovers have been kind of linked with a few bits and pieces. Obviously a striker seems to be high on their agenda, and there've been a couple of names thrown at them. Obviously Jonathan Afolabi has been linked. Now that one looks like it'd be more of a summer move, so whether they opt to wait for that, can they get by with Aaron Green and Rory Gaffney and maybe Noonan chipping in as well? Can they get by with that until the summer and then get Afolabi in? Possibly. Might not be the most exciting thing in the world, and the last thing Rovers fans want is another slow start to a season and playing catch up again, because that cost them last year. So that's the last thing that Rovers fans will want, is that kind of slow pedestrian start to another campaign, which would be a real shame for them. Johnny Kenny, of course, linked as well on loan. I know there's that 2-team rule or something like that, and I think St Mirren had gone in for him as well in the Scottish League. But I think since the rumours of a Kenny loan return, even for 6 months, they have been kind of quiet. And then I believe he has put up a social media post kind of thanking Shamrock Rovers, and that would lean itself towards being that's not happening. It's not happening. And I know Celtic sold Kyogo, I think was, to Rennes in France as well, so maybe they need that kind of Kenny as a backup option to Ida. I'm not 100% sure on all the options Celtic have up top, but I know Kenny could be in and around the first team now, so maybe that's something he wants to give a last shot for 6 months and then revisit his options in the summer maybe. So yeah, I think Kenny looks like he's staying put at Celtic for the moment, which is a huge blow for Shamrock Rovers. And he just begs the question, doesn't it? Could they sneak in and maybe throw an offer at Lise Mousset? Bohemians kind of did a ring a little bit, maybe not sure, and it could Rovers be the ones to take a punt if it is maybe a financial motivator for Lise Mousset with Bows. If there's a bit of a financial disparity there in terms of wages and stuff, maybe Rovers can come in and offer him a slightly higher wage than what Bows can do, and maybe offer European football, and that might be more up his alley kind of thing, and maybe playing for a team that's more likely to challenge for Europe and for silverware next season. So maybe Lise Mousset could be convinced to the south side of Dublin. Remains to be seen. I have a sneaky feeling we could see something crop up there a little bit like along the lines of that. It just kind of smells like it now, with Kenny's rumours kind of cooling and Afolabi maybe not till the summer. Maybe they'll take a chance on Lise Mousset. Who else could see that? Or am I talking absolutely waffle? Let me know. I feel like I could just see them sneaking in there, a little offer potentially, and taking a chance on him. But Rovers fans, let me know, what striker would you like to get in? Is it Afolabi? Is it wait till the summer, or is it go for someone right now, right for the here and now? Shelbourne, for me, they've gone quiet since bringing in McEnroe from Scotland, but I think they desperately need a defender. They desperately need a kind of a centre half, or whether it be a right full, someone bit of defensive cover on that right hand side. It just screams of a Sean Gannon or a Paddy Barrett injury away from a bit of a disaster there for me. So I think they desperately need to get a little bit of it could be a loan just to get them going even till the summer, and they can revisit it then or something. They need a little bit more cover there, a little bit more quality, just to elevate themselves and really kind of go and challenge again next season. I think everywhere else they're fairly covered in terms of depth, and it looks quite strong. I just think they need another defender just in terms of depth, and just to really push them on. But remains to be seen what they can get done. I don't think Duff would be panicking too much. He seems relatively happy with his squad, and obviously Gannon and Barrett would be starters, so it might be hard to convince someone to come in and play second fiddle. So interesting one there. But the big story of the week has of course been young Mason Melia. I obviously heavily rumoured that he was going to be leaving St Patrick's Athletic, and there was a lot of interest from Italy, from all across the continent, and of course from England as well. And it was kind of Spurs that led the chase for a long time. He'd been over on trial, he'd been kind of shown the stadium and shown around, and it kind of, you got the impression that was where he was going to end up, and it turned out to be the case. And Tottenham Hotspur have confirmed the signing of Mason Melia. They have brought in the 17-year-old wonder kid. He is a fantastic talent. Obviously, given the number 9 jersey for St. Pat's at the age of 16 is an incredible achievement in itself. And he seems like a really kind of level-headed fella, and he has kind of the world at his feet. He kind of plays beyond his years. He's such a good talent, such a good player, and I think for Pats it's probably best case scenario in terms of the deal. I guess they get to keep him for the whole of the 2025 campaign, which is fantastic. Obviously Brexit plays a factor in that. I believe he turns 18 in September, so he won't move until January of 2026, so that's a huge plus for them. And so you kind of play a part in the European campaign, he'll play a part in their league challenge as well, no doubt, so huge to keep him for the season. I think it's a 1.6 million initial fee, which is a great figure, and it could rise to potentially between 3.5 to 4 million euros or pounds, whichever it is, depending on kind of add-ons. I assume his first team appearances, maybe some Ireland caps, things like that. So yeah, it could rise to 3.54 million, you're talking. And then, of course, there is a 20% sell-on fee as well, which is fantastic. And you kind of just look at Evan Ferguson for Bows. It was kind of rumoured he could be going 80, 100 million there last summer. I know he's kind of cooled down a bit, but obviously he has a loan at West Ham now to maybe refine his form, and he could be a £50 million player, £60 million player by the summer. So yeah, so like if Melia can break into the Spurs team, he kind of instantly becomes at least a 40-50 million pound player, and that's big bucks. Then 20% of a sell-on fee there if he gets a decent move. Like it's crazy, isn't it? So good business by Pats, and it kind of sets the tone now for the rest of the League of Ireland clubs that we need to be tying down our young players to decent professional contracts, not getting screwed over by clubs abroad anymore. We need to really knuckle down on that. But like last season just pops into my head is kind of Gavin Malloy going to Aberdeen for 75 grand. There's countless examples in my head that I could come up with, and just players moving for a pittance. So it's about time we start getting the money that we deserve for these unbelievable talents. Seamus Coleman 60 grand to Everton, you know, it's about time that we start getting what we deserve for these really talented young players coming from Ireland. So fantastic business from Pats, fair play to them. Hopefully this is the start of good things to come in that department, and transfers moving abroad and stuff. Hopefully that's a kind of a start of a good base now for Irish clubs to build off, and that sets the tone now moving forward. So fantastic move for Pats, fantastic move for Mason Melia, and it's great that he'll be playing in the League of Ireland again next season. But there you have it, guys. That's kind of the latest bits and pieces from around the league, the kind of breaking news. I wanted to kind of touch on the Melia stuff and a few of the Bows deals and stuff, so I thought I'd just jump on and quickly talk about them. If anything else pops up, we might jump on again later in the week or something. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please drop a like on it down below. As we said, 80 likes would be a fantastic target to hit, and if you can subscribe as well, that'd be fantastic. Closing in ish on 4K, so your support as always greatly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in a little bit.